Hey guys, I'm freshly back from another trip cross country and I wanted to share something about this little guy right here. Raise your hand if you know what this is, or raise your hand if traveling in an airplane as a larger person scares the bejesus out of you because you don't want to end up having to ask for this. As you know, this is an extender. This is the thing that the stewardesses or the flight attendants stand up there and they show you, they demonstrate like you've never been on a plane before, how to clip the flat end into the buckle, adjust it low and tight across your hips, and then lift. Okay, we all know what this is. This is really meant to show people, to demonstrate how to use a seatbelt, but they make extra ones and sell them out there in the interwebs for you to purchase if you need your own instead of having to ask the flight attendants. Now, I bought mine from a very reputable company. I spent a fortune for it. I think I spent $55 for it several years ago, but it's been worth its weight in gold because when I did need an extender, it was my own. I put my own label on it so they know that it's mine. And I never have to ask for it. Now, keep in mind, this is one for specifically Southwest. Every airline is different. Southwest is unique. So on the website where I bought mine, which I'll have to find it and link it below for you if you're interested, I'm not affiliated with them at all. I just think that if you don't know they exist and you want one, and you're a frequent flyer and you don't want to ask for an extender, you should know where you should be able to get them. I do know that the TSA, they don't want people to bring their own extenders because they don't trust them. They don't think that they're, safe and secure. But the one I have is definitely a quality item. So with that said, use your best judgment. I'm not advocating, using an extender, but I needed one. I'm a very avid traveler. I fly all the time, mostly Southwest, and that's why I bought the Southwest one. Of course, when I've traveled internationally, it was a totally different story a couple years back when I had to ask for an extender on a United flight, which was embarrassing as all get out. If anybody's ever asked for an extender on a plane, you know the despair and the agony it is to ask for an extender for your seatbelt. So having your own definitely comes in handy if you know you need one. But that sort of brings me to, well, first of all, it doesn't look like I need this anymore because I've lost enough weight where I've got the seatbelt clips now naturally without this thing. So I'm definitely going to keep it as a reminder. I may give it to someone someday, or maybe it'll be a giveaway someday on this site. I don't know. But just knowing that I don't need it anymore is a huge relief when I travel now. But with that said, it kind of sparked a little bit of a conversation between me and Nick yesterday on the plane because he and I travel a ton together. We've been together. We've been married 13 years, been together roughly 14, and we've traveled a ton, cross country, internationally, etc. And we've been big, huge for most of those flights. And we were talking about kind of the most embarrassing situations that we've been in as bigger people traveling. And I'd have to say Southwest was going through their whole big push where anybody who was large, they could basically force you to buy another seat. Just based on, if you spilled over into somebody else's seat or whatever, they would say, you need to purchase another seat. Well, as Nick and I were boarding a plane, we had our boarding passes printed out. We handed them to the guy and he scanned them. He actually took us aside and he said, we're concerned for the comfort of the passengers, the other passengers, and you two are much too big. And do you even fit in the seats? Now, at that moment, I was just mortified, absolutely mortified. We were out in line, people could overhear. It wasn't even that I was concerned about what other people thought. It was that, oh my God, a wake-up call. You're huge. You and your husband are huge, and you're traveling now, and now you're that problem flyer. You're that problem person that nobody wants to sit next to on a plane. And it's a very harsh, very, very harsh reality to us at the time. Unfortunately, when we sit together and put the armrest between us, even at our biggest, we were fine. I mean, I had an extender. I don't think Nick ever needed an extender, but there was a time when before I even had my extender, I would just tuck the seatbelt down between my legs and make it look like I was, connected, which I'm sure nobody believed me. Nobody, but, it was kind of like an unspoken thing, don't ask, don't tell kind of thing. But then I finally bucked up and bought the extender myself. But, we told the guy, when we're together in the seat together, we mush up against each other, we put this thing up and we're fine, and then someone can have the aisle seat. And we got off scot-free. We didn't have to buy the extra seat that time, but oh my gosh, we were that close to having to buy another seat. So just kind of enjoying this little non-scale victory. I wanted to share it with you because I know traveling it's stressful to travel. Being a big person and traveling adds a whole other layer of stress between the seat, clipping the belt in an uncomfortable position for hours at a clip, and then don't even get me started about airplane bathrooms. Oh my gosh, they're like death chambers in there. And as a big person, you just can't maneuver. So, if you need any motivation to lose weight and you're an avid traveler, you gotta know, coming from a traveler too, it is so hard. It's getting exponentially harder to travel and be heavy and, race through airports and get to your flight. Knowing that I don't need the extender anymore is a really wonderful feeling. So just want to share that with you. Tell me if you're a traveler. Do you have your own extender? What do you do? Have you ever asked for an extender? Has it been the most mortifying thing in the world? It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. But didn't know if you knew that you could get your own extender. They do exist. Use them at your own risk, please. But they do exist. So if you didn't know you could buy your own, you can. There are websites out there that do sell the real deal. You likely get what you pay for. So, you might as well take the time to invest and get a good one. So that's all for now. Have a wonderful night and go drink some water, and I'll see you soon. Bye.